Similarly to the Despicable Me or even Madagascar series, with Minions and Penguins of Madagascar respectively, the View Askewniverse franchise took its most lovable characters and threw them into their own spin-off film. That's right, we're finally up to Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. The question now remains, is this a pointless spin-off like the aforementioned films, or is it potentially the best thing that Kevin Smith ever did? Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back takes our favorite wacky duo on a road trip like no other. When they learn a Bluntman and Chronic movie adaptation is in the works and they're not getting their cut of the film's paycheck, they vow to head to Hollywood to stop the production in retaliation. On the way, they run into a bunch of colorful characters such as the Band of International Jewel Thieves, an idiot sheriff, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, a silly orangutan, the list goes on and on and on. May I present to you the very first film that I ever saw from the View Askewniverse series. Truth be told, I specifically remember enjoying this film so much that I almost immediately sought out Clerks to watch that, but when I was researching it, I was really disappointed because it was so different than this. It didn't take me long to realize that this series has gone a long way from its roots. Because of that, the only other film that I ever watched in the View Askewniverse series was Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. After that, I walked away and forgot about all of it. Believe it or not, I initially enjoyed this film despite not actually knowing or even picking up on all of the shoutouts that the series had thus far, as these characters were essentially giving us an in-depth look into how they're always everywhere and everybody seems to know them wherever they go. They're a magnet for ridiculousness, and that specifically works perfectly for a road trip film. One of the main reasons that I fell in love with this film was its innate ability to showcase a lot of really fun, smart pop culture references that anybody could enjoy, regardless on if they'd seen the rest of the View Askewniverse series or not. That's still 100% true. So many truly hilarious references throughout this film, as well as a Mark Hamill lightsaber duo that is better than anything that he did in the Star Wars sequels. While I absolutely appreciate that, my rewatch was met with even more appreciation to the Askewniverse than what I initially held. A better understanding of Kevin Smith's imagination and sense of humor, and a revelation that this is what I would consider to be the second most cinematic film in the franchise, just under Dogma. This film systematically works as a connection to everything that came before it, as well as a movie on its own. It is, however, a little bit disappointing to hear that Kevin Smith, while filming Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, found it to be mostly a gigantic headache because of the recent escalation and uncontrollable substance abuse that Jason Mewes was currently partaking in and making life a living hell for the crew. On the other hand, it's pretty remarkable about how he turned his life around in order to keep playing Jay again in later films. Kevin Smith actually held that over his head if he didn't get clean. I thought that was a great inspirational story. All I have to say is, despite the hell the crew received from Mewes, you can't really tell that the tension was palpable in real life, so that's good. Thankfully, they rebooted this film and they did it all over again and managed to get a better experience with it. I will be taking a look at that reboot soon enough. But after watching this film, I had to contemplate for a while to decide if the film had any real negatives or not. Did it do what it set out to do or not? Honestly, I came up mostly empty. For me, most of this was exactly what I wanted to see out of a movie featuring Jay and Silent Bob. It was funny, it had a lot of cameos, it made connections to the past Askewniverse movies, as well as made a lot of cheeky nods to famous movies. If I was forced to pull a rabbit out of the hat and lay out a negative, I guess it would be something a little towards the end. Whenever you have something like this, a movie within a movie, especially based off of characters that live in their own cinematic universe, you have to keep the idea that it all exists in this universe somehow. But a few moments did take me out of that, like when Ben Affleck spoke about accepting a role in Dogma in the film, because if he did that, then those events, which included Jay and Silent Bob, didn't actually happen. Certain things like that mix a little bit with the little clarity that the series already had, but I guess definitely nothing to nitpick. It's all mostly just for fun anyway. Small details like that never seem to be all that important. in the series. At this point, I only have one more review to go, which is Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, and I will be checking that out pretty soon, possibly even the very next review you see on here, but no promises, after which I will try to do a quick review, maybe even a little bit of a ranking of the series as a whole, so look out for that. I am giving Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back a letter grade of A-. But what do you guys think about it? Are you a fan of the Askewniverse? Are you a fan of the characters of Jay and Silent Bob? If you are, what is your favorite film that features these characters? Let me know. And as for YouTube, you guys know what to do. Hit the like, subscribe button, and bell to be notified when I come out with my next review. And until then, peace out. That money's from the past. Got a restraining order. Their freedom didn't last. Silent Bob and Jay and duo so absurd. Set out on a journey, their voices to be heard. They're Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.